Hi everybody, welcome to yet another video. So today we're having a look at the Porphis PRD815. Been causing quite a bit of a stir, hasn't been out for long, probably about 3-4 months at the time of releasing this video. And we're putting it up against the Porphis, the PRD715. Now that's been out well, it's been out probably about 5 years, I think. I've had mine, this particular one I've had for 3 years, 3 and a bit years now. Been extremely reliable, really like the gun. And the thing that struck me when I first got these was the build quality. I will go on to compare the two, but there's a few things I need to say, and I'll say it at the start because otherwise I'll forget. I just go off on a tangent and I just forget what I would like to say. A few things I need to say. One, we have a discount code with Porphis, which is Pete Hobby. There's a link in the description and it will automatically go to the website and apply that discount code. So if you feel like supporting the channel a bit, then that's the way to do it. There's also a company in the UK which I've just literally got a spray gun from, which is a company called RX Spray. And nothing to do with them apart from being a customer and, you know, appreciating the fact that they've bought these things into sale. So if you're in the UK, that's actually a good place to buy them. We have got a discount code as well. There's no direct link or anything, but there's a link to their website, and the discount code is RX Spray 5. Self-explanatory really. It's 5% discount. The reason I mention them again is that I literally just today received a PRD8. No, I didn't. I received a PRD716, which is the HVLP version, because I've been after one for a while and I was going to maybe get one from Porphis. I wasn't sure really, but anyway, they said they'd supply it. I did buy it, but they did help me out with the purchase of it. So a big thank you to them for that. And I've been using it today actually, and I can't work out why I avoided all the HVLP guns for so long, because Porphis sent me a couple. I've got the 716 from our RX Spray, and they're really good, and they don't use anywhere near as much air. Anyway, I'll save that for a different video, but that's the reason they're in my head, because I literally received something from them today. And there's also, while I remember, a competition to win one of these guns, the PRD815. It's still running, finishes on the 9th, so the last entry will be on the 9th of October 2025. So if you feel like getting a chance to win, all you've got to do is put a comment down, try and make it funny or whatever you think will appeal, because it's not a random choice. We'll actually look through them and see which one we think is best, and by we I mean Porphis and me, and also subscribe to the Porphis channel and my channel. So it's not actually hard work really, and you could well win one of these guns, which are cracking guns. Both of these are cracking guns. For me, this brand has really changed the way I feel about what's value for money and what isn't. Because before these come along, it was always a bit of a compromise. If you bought a cheaper gun, it normally wouldn't last so long. Not always, but often it wouldn't last so long, etc. And these seem to have changed it. They're not cheap, but they're not expensive either. So they do give really good value for money. And as I say, I've had this one over 3 years now. Doesn't get loads of use, but I've let it out to 3 different people. And it just works really well, and it's lasted really well as well. So yeah, I think that's everything I need to say. So if you want to win one, go over to the video. I'll put a link in the description and see if you can win one of these guns that's right in the frame right now. So what's the difference between the two? First thing you'll notice is the PRD715 is a faster gun than the PRD815. Both of these are in 1.3. They make both of these also in 1.2. I've done a separate review of each. In fact, the review of the 1.2 version PRD815 is the one that the competition is running on. So if you want to see that, go over there and, as I say, enter the competition, because it's free and you might win gun. Anyway, so what you'll notice, as I say, is the PRD715 is faster than the PRD815. Light for light, so tip size being the same. How they differ is the pattern. You'll see the pattern. We do a spray out on these comparison videos. One of the reasons we do it is people get an idea with a proper clear coat as to how the pattern differs. And you'll see that the 715 pattern is slightly smaller and it's also slightly wetter, and that's where it gets its speed from. What I would say is both of these make really good base coat guns. And well, they both make really good clear coat guns as well. But the 715 really does well at base coat. The 815 is exceptional at base coat. It really is. The pattern is so even and smooth. If you're doing more complex colours, candies and things like that, it works really, really well. But if you're someone that wants to wet up quickly, so you want the work to wet up quickly, normally in applications where time is of the essence and you've got to get on really, or you're doing bigger things like vans and buses, probably not. You'd probably use pressure feed, but things like vans and that, where you may be using a single stage paint and you just got to get on with it. So there is a difference between the two, but the 715 is actually a really good base coat gun. I really like the 717, and for those that don't know, that's a split tip gun. And the reason I like it is because it atomizes supremely fine, which all of these guns do, but the 717, because of that split tip, really, really does. But it really slows the gun up. And I recommended to someone once, I said, well, if you get a 717 and use it for base coat, because they like to fast the gun, I said, get a 715, the 815 wasn't out then, get a 715 and you'll find that it'll be nice and fast, etc. And they ended up reversing what I said. Now, the 717 is a brilliant clear coat gun, but it's quite slow. But they thought it was a bit too dry for base coat. But when they swapped them over, so they used the 715 for base coat and the 717 for clear coat, they absolutely loved the combination. So it is down to what you do, what materials you use, and what you are like as a painter. Now, if you're a DIY chap, and I know that a lot of manufacturers, in my opinion, overlook the home market and the semi-professional is the wrong word really, but the amateur market that wants a quality tool. I think a lot of manufacturers tend to overlook them. They think that because they're making a good quality class products that's designed to last for ages, people at home won't want them, and I don't think that's right at all. I think that it's probably half your audience is people at home that want a quality tool and know it's going to last. That's what I reckon. I could be wrong, but that's what I think. So with these guns, what you get is you get a quality tool without spending, your 700 GB pounds, for, or $1,000 for a SATA. But the 815, as you can see, it's superb at clear coat. And it is superb at base coat. But I still think that I would prefer the 717. Having said that, having the 1.2 version of the 815, which is now out, and as I said, it's the one that's in the competition, I think it probably just pips the 717. Because the atomization, I think, is as fine, maybe slightly, it's really hard to decipher. But the 1.2 815 is a bit faster, so it will appeal to the people that want a little bit more speed but still want the fine atomization. So there is a subtle difference to all these guns, and at times it's difficult to actually see what the main differences are, because with these two guns the biggest difference is the price. They sell for, depending where you are and what taxes you've got to pay, etc., around about $250 to $300 for the PRD 715. You may have to pay import duties, etc., which is one of the things with RX spray. Obviously they're in the UK already, so there's no duty, and also they're VAT registered. So if you are VAT registered, then you can claim your VAT back. So it depends where you are as to how much they are. But the PRD815 is around about 375 to 425 US dollars. As I say, it depends where you are as to what taxes and duties you'll actually pay. So it's quite a step up. It's about, what, 50%. What's my maths like? Yeah, about 50%, maybe a little bit more. So it is quite a step up. One of the reasons for making the video is it actually worth that difference? And I think the answer is, if you can afford it, then yes, it probably is. But if speed is your utmost concern, with a good finish, and you'll see the finish I get with the 715 is a really good finish, then maybe the 715 is what you're 715 is what you're after. I get confused with me 15s, 16s and 17s, which leads me to another point. In the booklet that comes with the 815, they also have some information on the PRD 816 and 817. So I'm thinking, unless it's a printing mistake, that those will be along at some time. And as I've just said about the PRD 716 that I've just bought, these HVLP guns actually work really well, and they're not, I mean, I can't say for the 816 if and when it comes out, because I haven't tried it, but certainly the HVLP versions that I've tried from the Porphis range haven't used anywhere near the 15.2 CFM of air they claim. It's less than that. I would guess it's around about 12 CFM. And somebody put the other day, oh, you're clever, being able to guess what the CFM of a, oh, let me shut that up. You're clever being able to guess what CFM a gun can use. Well, I've got a pretty good idea, to be honest, because I've got a hell of a lot of guns, and I've got guns that are rated and been tested up to 16 CFM. And believe me, these Porphis HVLP guns don't use anything like that. They're on a par with a DV1 Base GTI Pro Light TE20, which is supposed to be 12 CFM. And that's at 2 bar. I've been using the HVLP guns. I've got the PHS 156, the PC 416, which is a cracking gun for the money. And I've now got the PRD 816. Sorry, no, I haven't. I've got the PRD 716. And all of them are using about the same. And I reckon it's about 12 CFM. So don't be so put off by the fact that, it's HVLP, it's going to use a load of air. It will use more air than the MP version, which is what this is, which is about 10.5 CFM. But you do get a more what I would call a stable application of base coat. I've always, as I said, I think I said at the start of the video, I've always avoided HVLP, and I've got into it lately. I know some people say it's an old technology because it's like 25 years old, but it actually works really, really well. You hold the gun normally a bit closer to the work. Definitely has a saving on material. And as I say, the only drawback is that it does use more air. But as I say, the Porphis doesn't use as much air as certainly the other HVLP guns I've used. I mean, I remember once the DV1 Base HV30, I actually sold the cap because I thought, I can't run this. It was just like tearing the high out of my little compressor. These days I've got a double compressor set up and a bigger tank, and I can run guns like that without any problem. But yeah, certainly it's nowhere near what others do. Anyway, back to comparing these two guns. I know I get a bit waylaid, and I do apologise, but as I say, build quality on both of these is really, really good. It's not the same as Meiji, the Meiji standard, but it's not far off it. It's certainly as good as a SATA, as a DV1 Base, as a Iwata, etc. It really is good quality build at really affordable price as well. So yeah, I'm thoroughly sold on the brand. I really do enjoy using their stuff. This 716, when no, not 716, yeah, 716. When I first got it today, the first thing I do is take it apart to clean it out. And I'd be using going back to what I was saying about HVLP, I've been using a SATA 1500 HVLP I'd got for some base coat on a bumper, which I have done a video of, and you will see it one day. I'm hopelessly behind on videos. But I've been using that, and I was cleaning, or I had that apart because I'd cleaned it out, and I thought, well, I'll clean this out while I'm at it, because I was going to, well, I've used it today, the 716. And I thought, this is actually, it's better made than the SATA. Now, I appreciate the 1500 isn't like the top SATA, but it's more money than the Porphis, and it's just much better made. So yeah, I mean, it just made me think that you really don't have to pay loads of money anymore to get a good quality lasting gum. So the temperature when we did this was 20 degrees Celsius, which is about 73 Fahrenheit, 74 Fahrenheit, something like that. So it wasn't warm, but it wasn't cold either. It was probably what you'd nearly ideal for painting, really. I personally like about 25, 26 Celsius, which is about 80, I think 82 Fahrenheit, something like that. I find that really good because you don't have to heat the panel. The base coat goes off nice and quickly. The clear coat goes off, but it allows you time to work with it if you need to. You don't have to race for it going off in the pot, and you don't have to change the thinners and things like that you use. Because I've got slower thinners and that, but in the UK I rarely need to use it, to be honest, because it just doesn't get that warm. Well, this year it did, and has done recently, but not normally. One of the things that Porphis actually mentioned to me when this first come out, the PRD815, and I will point out actually that I was given the PRD815 that's in this video, and I bought the PRD715 that's in this video. But when it first come out and they said, do you want one to try, basically, they were quite keen to say that it was ideal for waterborne waterborne clear coats. Now, in the UK, I know in Europe, actually, mainland Europe, they're a little bit more into their waterborne clear coats, but in the UK, it's really hard to get hold of anything, and it's really expensive, and most people don't actually rate it. But it works superbly well with normal clear coat. Both of these, obviously the idea of these comparison videos was we use exactly the same clear coat. So this is just the pretty standard for what I do, Upol 2080, which is a very cheap clear coat. I put some reducer with it, 10% reducer. I run the guns fully open, so full fan and full fluid, both of them. I know a lot of people would turn the fan in to get it a little bit, to get the tips of the fan a little bit sharper. I normally don't bother, but with the 815, it's super sharp on its own. So even flat out, it's super sharp. Iwata could have learnt a thing or two about that with the Series 1 WS400, because that was, people used to ask me, because I did a few videos on it, how do you set that gun up? Because it's just an absolute pig, and it's actually not. Once you get used to it, it's not. But you can't use it on full fan. Well, most of the time you can't. Long story that, but most of the time you can't. But with these, they work supremely well, and you can see the edging on the fan is, where it goes from wet to dry, is very small on both of these. So yeah, I mean, you're getting a class tool for very little money, really. And yes, I know the 815 is more expensive, but it's still, compared to 700 or 600 GB pounds, 1,000 US dollars for a WS 400, which, you know, the coating, the chrome coating falls off after a couple of years, or as one of mine is, it's tarnished. I think they're brilliant value. Yeah, anyway, the results speak for themselves. PRD is on the left, I think, and the PRD, they're both PRDs. The PRD815 is on the left, and this one is the PRD717. But for what isn't a particularly good quality clear coat, yes, I put reducer with it, so it does help it flow out a little bit. But you know, if you use a good quality clear coat, you'll get even better results. And certainly with the 1.2 versions of these, a better quality clear coat is not essential, but is necessary really to get the best out of them. Anyway, guys, thanks as always for watching. Listen to me ramble on. It is much appreciated. And yeah, thanks as always for listening. And if you're new to the channel and you've just stumbled over it and you're still with me and you're still with it, then maybe think about giving us a thumbs up and maybe a subscription. And don't forget to pop over and like that video and join in the competition for the 815. Cheers, guys. Bye bye.